This is David Goggins, a man widely known as one of the toughest and most mentally unbreakable human beings on Earth. A retired Navy SEAL, David Goggins is the only individual in U.S. military history to complete Navy SEAL training, Army Ranger School, and Air Force Tactical Air Controller training. These programs are considered among the most brutal and demanding training regimens in the world, training designed to break the body and crush the mind. But David didn't just survive them. He mastered them. Beyond the military, David Goggins has completed more than 60 ultramarathons, ultra-triathlons, and endurance races. Many of these races stretched over 100 miles, often run in extreme heat, freezing cold, or mountainous terrain. In several of these competitions, he finished in the top 5, despite competing against professional endurance athletes. He also achieved something almost impossible, setting a Guinness World Record by completing 4,030 pull-ups in just 17 hours. What makes this achievement even more unbelievable is the fact that David was born with a hole in his heart, a condition that significantly reduced his oxygen supply, nearly 50% less than a normal person. Yet David Goggins never saw this as an excuse. Because if you truly want to understand who David Goggins is, you must understand where he came from. David says his childhood was not just difficult, it was terrifying. Although he was born into a financially stable family, his home was filled with fear, violence, and chaos. His father was an alcoholic, extremely abusive, and deeply involved in criminal activities. David witnessed his father brutally beat his mother, both mentally and physically. As a child, David himself was regularly beaten with belts and fists. Every day felt like survival. Eventually, his mother could no longer tolerate the abuse. She escaped the house with David, leaving everything behind. But the damage had already been done. Years of toxic stress had deeply affected David's brain. Scientists say that extreme stress in childhood can damage the brain as severely as serious neurological diseases. It affects memory, learning ability, emotional control, and self-worth. David struggled badly in school. He had trouble reading, remembering basic information, and keeping up with other children. Teachers often labeled him as slow. His confidence was shattered before it could even form. On top of this, he faced racism almost everywhere he went. At every stage of his life, he felt like he didn't belong. As a result, David began to live the kind of life most people live, running away from pain, hiding inside comfort zones, and avoiding challenges. But life doesn't stay still. Between the ages of 19 and 23, David completely lost control. His mental health collapsed. His discipline disappeared. His weight increased from 79 kilograms to 136 kilograms. He was severely overweight, unhealthy, and deeply unhappy. At 23 years old, David worked in pest control. Every day, he entered restaurants and homes to kill insects and cockroaches. This job was not just physically unpleasant, it crushed him mentally. He felt trapped, ashamed, and purposeless. He believed this was all his life would ever be. One evening, after returning home from work, David turned on the television. A documentary was playing about Navy SEAL training, the toughest military training program in the world. On the screen, soldiers were carrying heavy boats over their heads, running through sand, freezing in cold water, and being screamed at by instructors. Something inside David woke up. For the first time in years, he felt alive. A voice inside him said, "I want to do this. I need to do this." Without hesitation, David picked up the phone and called the Navy. But as soon as he mentioned his weight, 136 kilograms, the call was ended. He tried again and again. Finally, one recruiter agreed to help him, but on one brutal condition. To join the Navy, David had to weigh 75 kilograms. That meant losing 50 kilograms in just 3 months. For most people, this sounds impossible. Dangerous. Unrealistic. David said yes. From that moment, his transformation began. Every day, he stood in front of the mirror and told himself the harsh truth. No lies. No excuses. He acknowledged his weakness, his laziness, and his failures, and promised himself he would change. One day, while working at a restaurant, David suddenly threw his pest control equipment to the ground. He told himself, "I'm done living like this." He walked outside and started running in his work shoes. After just 400 meters, he collapsed. His lungs burned. His body gave up. Humiliated, he slowly walked home. But that night, he watched a movie about his favorite boxer. In the movie, the boxer was beaten mercilessly. His coach begged him to quit. But the boxer refused. He stood up again. That moment changed David. He went outside and ran again. This time, he completed a full mile. That was the first time David realized a life-changing truth: most physical and mental limits are imaginary. From that day onward, David ran every single day. He trained relentlessly. He worked out obsessively. He pushed his body further than it had ever gone before. Slowly, his weight dropped. His confidence grew. After 3 months, David lost 50 kilograms. He qualified for Navy SEAL training. But the real test had just begun. During SEAL training, David faced Hell Week, a 5-day nightmare of sleep deprivation, freezing water, constant running, and endless punishment. The instructor's goal was simple: make as many trainees quit as possible. They told David he wasn't good enough, that he didn't belong, that he would fail. Instead of breaking him, their words fueled him. When his team grew exhausted and demoralized, David spoke to them. He reminded them that pain was temporary and quitting was permanent. Together, they pushed harder, lifting boats, shouting, refusing to surrender. David developed what he calls a callous mind. Just like skin becomes hard through repeated friction, the mind becomes strong through repeated suffering. Pain no longer scared him. Discomfort became his teacher. David learned how the sympathetic nervous system works, the system that activates when you push beyond comfort. He realized that when your mind says, "Stop," your body still has much more to give. After SEAL training, David continued chasing impossible challenges. He ran 100-mile races despite never having run that distance before. During one race, his body broke down completely. His urine turned bloody. His toenails fell off. His legs screamed in pain. At 70 miles, he collapsed. But he remembered something powerful. When you think you've given 100%, you've only given 40%. He stood up and finished the race. David calls one of his most powerful mental tools the cookie jar. Every past achievement, every hardship survived, is a cookie. When life becomes unbearable, you reach into that jar and remind yourself, "I've survived worse." David Goggins' life proves one thing clearly: you are capable of far more than you believe. Pain is not your enemy. Comfort is. So friends, I hope that you got a lot of information from this video. To watch more such interesting videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also, click on the bell icon, which is present next to the subscription button, so that you can get the notification of all the new videos of this channel. Like and share the video. Take good care of yourself. Goodbye.